As you can see, my wall package has turned up. So for the plywood and the studs, I like to put it on the wheels. In Japanese they call it a daisha. That way I can move it around to build my walls. The studs are obviously pre-cut. These are all my stud cripples, magasuke. They're my headers, magusa, and that's all my corner parts and wall backers. As you can see, it's kind of a semi pre-cut package. So got my lineal. Trying again. My lineal's outside. Unfortunately, I always stack it with the small ones on top and the long ones on the bottom, so you have to sort that out. But yeah, I'm going to start building the walls pretty soon here, and I'll show you how to do that in a little while. So as you can see, I've set my chop saw bench up, which I like to use to cut all my plates and my window parts. I'm going to start by building this long wall across the back here, and I'll show you now how I lay out the plates. Basically nail a couple of sticks together. I always put my nails through the top plate, which is the straight one, because I want a straight top plate. So with the straightest stick I can find, I use as my top plate. Flush it up there, pull my number, and you want to cut on stud layout, because you want the join on a stud. So that would be at 4140. Square that over. Flush it up again here, not attacking it. Slide it down so it's nice and square. This way I'm cutting them at the same time, both plates, so I know the number's good. Okay, now it's time to lay it out, and first I mark all my studs, which are centre to centre 455. As you can see, I'm coming in on a stud there. Next thing, square those through. I've got a mark on the top and the bottom plate. That's my stud layout. This is what you need, obviously, for the studs and the plywood. Okay, I'm going from the outside, so that means there's a 3-ply on the end. So I'm marking the walls now. There'll be a 90mm coming in this side, and I can just mark that on the top plate. Then I've got the bathroom wall, which is at 1820 centre to centre. I'll mark that as a wall backer. We've got a wall coming in there. Mark the top plates, because obviously this gets another plate on the top as well. And we have another wall at 3640. Over here. And again. Mark that. Mark the top plates. Now I'm going to put in my windows. So here we have a window 128 from the centre of that wall to the start of the opening, and the opening 654. This tells me the top height of the window, this tells me the bottom height of the window, this tells me what header I'm using. So 128 from centre of wall, so that's easy to mark because I've already marked my wall, and I know that's actually a stud and a cripple away, but 128. So that's going to be my cripple. So I'll mark that, and then mark the width of it, cripple, and then a stud. This is a wall backer. I just put 4 because it's a 4-ply, and then the opening is 654. So I always burn 100 mils because it's more accurate. So that'll make that 754. That'll be a cripple. This gives me my mark at 38 mils, which is the width for a 2x4. Cripple, stud, and then what they normally do to catch layout there, they just bang 2 more studs on. Let's have another stud. So cripple, stud. That's basically how you lay out a wall. So I'm going to carry on laying this whole wall out, get it ready, and I'll come back to you when I'm ready to build it. So as you can see, I finished laying out my wall, and then what I like to do is cut all my window parts and put everything down. Then I'm going to start nailing. So I start from the bottom. Start from the bottom over there, come all the way down, and I'll come back along the top. And that way I'm not walking up and down too much. So I'm going to go ahead and nail this up, and I'll get back to you when it's done. I'm using red 90 nails for this, but I only get 2 basically in each stud, like that, top and bottom. And when you join on a stud, you've got to put 4 in. Make sure everything's nice and straight when you nail it and flush. See my wall backer mark in there, and this comes in the centre. So lift it out, you can just toe nail it. I'll bring it back up. Window parts, they're not sticking out there. Stud cripple. So on and so forth. Line this one up. Nailed bottom jacks. Make sure you flush these up. Bottom jack always in the centre of my mark. As you can see, the wall's starting to take shape. Okay, I'll get back to you when I've done that. As you can see, I've framed this wall up, put in all my window openings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows in this wall. A lot of work. Now you've got to nail on the second top plate. In Japanese it's called atama tsunagi. You leave a 90mm gap for where the other interior wall's coming in. And it's always 2 on the end and then 3 in the bay. Make sure it's nice and flush. And I'll finish that off. So I finished framing my wall, I've got my top plate on. The bottom's straight, I've squared it up, so it's ready to start sheeting it with the Nova pan. 9mm Nova pan. It's this stuff here. I'll show you how that's done. So we're going to use back to the 50 sheeting gun. And basically you go to your tick, which is there, line it up there, flush on the bottom, put a nail in, then you line up the top, nail it there, and then nail it off. I like to do one at a time because the compressor's not going to keep up. So when I go and grab the next sheet, the compressor has a bit of time to replenish. And all the pitch, as you can see, the nailing pitch is written on the Nova pan. Just basically aim for the dots. So when I get to a window, I just mark it with one nail so I know where it is later. And I've got a couple of sheets there now, so I can just go ahead and nail it off. Got to be a little bit careful on the joins. In the bay is pretty easy. So the compressor's caught up a bit, still running. I'm going to keep nailing off. Again, I've got one window left to route out. Around the windows, 100mm pitch. So I finished this wall. Nailed some kickers along the bottom, set my jacks up, and I'm going to jack it up now. I'm on my own, so not looking forward to it. But basically I'm just going to have to seesaw each jack, try and get it up. Pretty heavy. That's enough on that one. A bit close here. Get that in. Let's just use a little bar for now. I'll get a bit higher. Should be able to get that in there. Getting there. Obviously you don't want to go too far. push it over. That wouldn't be a good thing either. Getting close. Oh, wind kind of took it a bit there. Bloody hell. We made it. Oh, it's alright, we're still holding on the other end. I'll pull that back in. That was probably a little bit too big to do on your own. But it's up now. There's a stud. Yeah. Okay, it's pretty safe now. Time to nail it off on the bottom. Oh.